Today we're going to do lesson 2.7, Interpret the Remainder. And there is another new voice on the video today. We hope you enjoy.
Today's lesson's learning goal is, I can apply and extend previous understandings of multiplication and division to interpret the remainder when solving a division problem.
Here is a problem. Erin has 87 ounces of trail mix. She puts an equal number of ounces in each of 12 bags. How many full bags of trail mix can she make? Well, we have to look at the dividend, which is the total number of ounces of trail mix. And that is 87 ounces of trail mix. So I'm going to circle that. Then we need to look at the divisor. That represents the total number of bags. Well, she has 12 bags. The question asks us how many full bags of trail mix can she make, and that's going to be the quotient. So we need to figure out how many full bags of trail mix she can make. So we need to divide. So we need to put the total number of ounces of trail mix inside the division sign. That's the dividend, so 87. We need to put the total number of bags, the divisor, in the divisor spot. And now we need to find the quotient, the total number of full bags. So we need to place the first digit of our quotient, and if we can't do 12 into 8 tenths, so we're going to put a X there. But we can do 12 into 87, and that goes 7 times. And 7 times 12 is 84. Look at how everything is lined up. 87 minus 84 is 3. And I check. Is 3 less than 12? Yes. So that is my remainder. So my remainder is 3. But my question asks how many full bags of trail mix can she make? Well, you can't have remainder 3 bags. So the full amount of bags, you can only make 7 full bags, and she's got some left over. So our answer to this question is 7 full bags. So we only needed to know the quotient. We did not need the remainder in this problem.
Here's another way to interpret the remainder, by adding 1 to the quotient. So here's an example. A sporting goods store is going to ship 212 tents. Each shipping container can hold 17 tents. How many containers will be needed to ship all of the tents? So I'm going to be looking for my divisor and my dividend. Here is my divisor. Here is my dividend. So I am looking for how many containers will be needed to ship all of the tents. So let me figure out how many times 17 goes into 212. I know that 17 cannot go into 2. I know that 17 can go into 21 one time. 17 times 1. Lining it up, divide, multiply. Now I'm subtracting. I bring down. I check. I divide again. 17 goes into 42 2 times. 17 times 2 is 34. Subtract again. And I have remainder 8. So now, looking back at my question, what it was asking me, how many containers will be needed to ship all of the tents? I cannot forget my remainder. I have 12 full containers, but including my remainder 8, my answer would be 13 containers.
Here is another question that we're going to use only the remainder. Here is my word problem. A total of 123 fifth grade students are going to St. Augustine. Each bus holds 38 students. All of the buses are full except one. How many students are on the bus that is not full? Well, I need to see my total number of students, and that is 123. And they're going to be, each bus will hold 38 of those students. All the buses are full, but only one is not. How many students are on the bus that's not full? We need to make sure we see that word not. So I'm going to set up my division problem because I'm going to need to find out how many kids are on that bus that's not filled. So I have 38 kids on a bus. Well, 38 into 1, nope, I can't do that. And I can't do 38 into 12. So now I got to go 38 into 123. Well, that is going to be 3. And 3 times 8 is 24. And I'm going to go ahead and put the little 2 to carry there just to make sure I remember. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 2 is 11. Now I need to subtract. So I'm going to borrow, and I come up with 9. Now, here is the really tricky part. We have 38 kids on 3 buses. I've got 9 kids that aren't on those 3 buses because those 3 buses only hold 114 kids. So how many kids are on that 4th bus? And that is 9 students are on the 4th bus, and that bus is not filled.
Here are some key words. When you are only using the quotient, some words that would be in the question will be full and exactly. When you are only needing to use the remainder, words would be not full or left over. And when you are adding 1 to the quotient, some examples might say days or items for all of something or entire.
Now pause the video since you see the pencil and take the notes that are on this slide. Here are some problems. We have to determine if we need to just give a quotient as an answer, the remainder, or we have to add 1 to the quotient. Here we go. Joe is hiking a trail with his Boy Scout troop. They plan to hike 58 miles in all and want to hike 10 miles each day. How many days will it take Joe to hike the entire trail? Well, if you go back to your notes and you look for the word entire trail, entire, that's going to let you know you may want to think you're going to have to add 1 to that quotient. So let's see. Let's go back to the question. Joe is hiking a trail with his Boy Scout troop. They plan to hike 58 miles in all and want to hike 10 miles each day. How many days will it take to hike the entire trail? Well, let me set up my problem. I have 58 divided by 10 because it's 10 miles a day and they want 58 miles total. So 10 into 58 goes 5 times. 5 times 10 is 50, and I subtract, I have 8. So they are going to hike 5 miles a day they're going to hike 10 miles in 5 days, but they still have 8 more miles. Well, we can't give a fraction of a day because the question says, how many days will they hike the entire trail? So what I need to do is I need to look at my quotient, and my quotient is 5. Well, I have to hike another day to get the other 8 miles. Well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to add 1 to that quotient. And if I add 1, 5 days plus 1 more day, in 6 days, Joe will hike the entire trail.
Here's another example. Ellen is making beaded bracelets to sell at the SPES mall. She has 239 beads in all. 25 beads are needed to make each bracelet. How many bracelets can Ellen make? So here you're trying to think, am I going to add 1 to the quotient, use the remainder as my answer? Or is the quotient, am I going to drop the remainder? So let's do my division problem. 25 goes into 239. Okay, 25 does not go into 23, or 2 doesn't go into 23. 25 goes into 239 9 times. Multiply 25 times 9 is 225. I'm running out of space. I did not plan this very well. 239 minus that is 14. So I have remainder 14. I'm going to go back to what my question was asking me. How many bracelets can Ellen make? She can only make 9 full bracelets. Now the question's asking how many beads will Ellen have left over? So I will use my remainder as my answer, 14.
Okay, here is a pencil on the page, so you know you're going to have to take notes. Okay, we're going to summarize and do our line of learning. Okay, here's an example. Erin has 87 ounces of trail mix. She puts an equal number of bags in each of 12 bags. How many full bags of trail mix can she make? You have to find the dividend, which is the total number of ounces of trail mix. You have to find the divisor, which represents the total number of bags. And you have to find the quotient, which represents the total number of full bags. The remainder represents how many ounces are left over. In your math journal, copy the word problem below, then solve the problem and explain what they divided, what the dividend, the divisor, the quotient, and the remainder represent. Look at the notes above. That should really help you. Here is the word problem. Mrs. Variable wants to give each of her 43 students a certificate for completing a STEM project. The certificates come in packages of 12. How many packages will Miss Variable need? Use your notes that you took, and it will help you answer the problem. Good luck!